I said, would you come back tomorrow? We'll do some hand pass. And so his guy said, well, his bicep is not good. But I said, look, I just need one arm. I don't need the right. I just need the left.
So did so that was because I reported that he had a bicep injury, and everyone told me, oh, shut up, stop making excuses.
Yeah,
he was in that fight with a bicep injury.
Yes, absolutely.
I already got told that by Eddie Hearn had told someone else, and that someone else had told me, and they said it was cool for me to report it. So I reported it, and everyone told me to shut up and shut up. Yeah. See, thank you, Coach Shields. See, yet again, the tag team always happens. See, look, see what it is.
Those are the words of Ronnie Shields and Lady Shan as she done an interview exclusively with Ronnie Shields, and Ronnie Shields revealed to us all that he didn't want to demonstrate anything with Ronnie Shields because of an arm injury, a right bicep injury. And for what we heard, he was doing this or carrying this injury into the fight. And this just really blows me away because why would you go into a fight injured like that? Okay, why would you go into a fight that one thing we know about injuries, okay, because I've got an injured shoulder right now. But if I got out here and fought Joe Blow or whatever, or even sparred, I would injure that more than likely because I'm using it, and then you need that reflex. And then if it's a bicep injuries, he probably threw it and pulled it back and tore it or whatever. I don't know how he did it. But if he went into that fight with a bicep injury, and then they told him the game plan was to outbox this guy for 12 rounds. Now I can understand why they told him such a shitty game plan. Why? Because if they knew he was injured, he shouldn't have been there. And this is what I'm talking about when you're dealing with people that are not really for your best interest. They're for their best lining of the pockets financially. That's why they don't care for your well-being. Because see, if what happened is true, Joshua went into this fight, that meant someone allowed him to go into this fight. They knew, hey, he has a bicep injury. And the ignoramuses that they are, and arrogant as they are, they thought that, oh, well, he'll still be able to knock out this guy because he's so small. That's what I figured they did. But either way, either they were arrogant, or they were selfish and didn't give a shit, or they were just idiots. Really, I mean, who would want someone to do that in a high-stakes fight like that where all your belts are on the line? This man had 3 out of 4 of the major belts. 4 belts total. And you mean to tell me this guy, Anthony Joshua, went into that fight damaged? Now the question you ask yourself, how damaged was the right? Okay? And how damaged was the right is a very good question, because when it was brought to my attention to look at this particular segment, how damaged was it when it went in? Now, a lot of things come to mind when I think of it. I'm like, okay, we know he didn't fight like he did in 2019, but we know something was wrong with him, which we still didn't get a straight fucking answer. We didn't get that. Okay, all we heard was, hey, Andy hit him with a lucky punch, or the punch from the gods, which is a lucky punch in so many words, right? Where in actuality, he just caught him with a perfect shot, okay? And he never recovered. That's the reality. But that's what we were fed. We were fed that bullshit, okay? But now, after that, we heard AJ say what? I couldn't see after the 9th round. Okay, that's bullshit. Because if you couldn't see after the 9th round, there would be no way you're on the ropes doing this and doing that. That's like, no. Okay, but now we hear something about the bicep explains a lot. So you can't say, oh, the excuses have been made. Well, One that doesn't even make any sense about him not being able to see, but you never heard anything about a bicep injury at all. You never heard him co-sign it, which you know Joshua won't. You don't want to hear Eddie Hearn do that. He didn't do it in any interview that he said, oh, well, he had a hurt shoulder. You know why, though? And I'm going to tell you why you don't want to hear any of that shit. You don't hear any of that because they don't want to make excuses like other fighters in the same fucking weight class. That's right. The man of 1,000 excuses for one loss made so many that he ruined the whole legitimacy of any other possible reason for a person's performance in any other division, including the heavyweight division. Okay? So, and I'm not even saying any names. All right. So that's why it's like, hey, that's why you think he didn't hear it. But then even if he would have said that, right? It would have came off as that. But then what would be the next thing? Why would someone want him to come in with a fucking injury? Then you would start questioning the team. But then if you allowed him to do that, though, anyway, you have to question the team. And it will look, it's Anthony Joshua spends too much money to people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's obvious. Because this man was injured or semi-injured or whatever, because we don't know the extent. You can have an injury, but then that doesn't mean, you can't fight. I mean, he threw the right. But you never seen him lean in on the right. So you could kind of say, okay, well, based off what we didn't see by AJ, you might believe that. Right? Ronnie Shields said it. Right? Lady Shan, shouts out to her. She heard it from the grapevine, but Ronnie Shields was told by Anthony Joshua's team that the man was injured going into the fight. So that lets you know that it's amateur night. Bars. Seriously. That has to be one of the most immature, selfish things that you could actually do. And it shows you that the people that's on his team don't really give a shit about his welfare. They just wanted him to win regardless of what type of condition that he was in. Bars. So that's what I'm getting at, people. And it's just crazy because you don't hear it from AJ, but if you hear it from everybody else, you start questioning, okay, why feed us this bullshit about your eyesight or whatever? It might have been difficult to see, but don't say, well, he did say couldn't really see anything. He didn't say I was just blind. But, I mean, come on. If you can't see, you can't see. Okay? Remember Mayweather got cut for the first time in the first Madonna fight. And, I can't see, So, whatever. But at the end of the day, this is breaking news. Very interesting to hear this come out that Anthony Joshua was injured to his right bicep before going into the Oleksandr Usyk fight. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.